Cover 3 Tailgate. And welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Tom Fornelli. That's Danny Kanell. That's Bud Elliott. I'm Chip Patterson coming to you live at youtube.com/cover3 and everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and come and join us in the chat, aka the Cover 3 Tailgate. Where? Ooh, let's see. Lots to get through here. Robert said he jumped in at 9:54 a.m. Eastern time. Do you think it is more likely you'll be invited to play Augusta one day, or that Sydney Sweeney will slide into your DMs and ask you out? Has anybody played Augusta?
That's a pardon my take, listener.
It is?
Yeah. I think it's more likely I'll be invited to play Augusta one day, but only because I've blocked Sydney on social media because she wouldn't stop harassing me.
Who says she hasn't already?
Ooh. That's right.
Just saying, okay? I don't have any family weddings that I could invite her to right now, but you never know. Watch out, Glenn. I'm coming for your corners. Have you ever, what's the closest, have you thought that you were going to get an Augusta invite?
No, I never sniffed it. I was on the Falcons for 2 years and tried to throw out some. It's one of those things too, where if you try too hard, it almost makes it harder. Like they don't want that type of eager enthusiasm. They'd rather just be somebody who's worthy of a round at Augusta. The one I'm trying to do is the media draw. The media draw.
Yeah.
You know, like that's where I think I got to find somebody at CBS who can at least put our names in there, you know?
So our colleague JJ Watt said on Twitter he's going to Augusta. He's going to the Masters. He's very excited. Said he's never been before, and he also included that he's playing on Monday. So do you think that's I'm guessing you're a part of the media round if you're playing on Monday, right?
So when Brooks Koepka won at Bethpage Black, I was doing, this is before I was on Cover 3. I was on Kanell and Bell, and we did a show from there. I think it was the PGA that was up there at the time, the PGA Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I got asked from one of our higher ups to do, they had a thing the Monday after Sunday. It was like play like the pros or something like that. And I got to play Bethpage. I don't know if JJ got kind of the similar type of invite, because I know like CBS gets some access because we cover it. But then there's also like, there's some that are invites to get out there. And then there's the lottery. One of those I got to make happen somehow. One of those. That's all I'm asking for. What would you rather have, a round at Augusta or Sydney Sweeney in your DMs?
Lynn's watching.
Exactly. I was going to say, since we're all spoken for.
I texted Chip this morning because we're doing one of our questions is, the golf foursome. I said it was really hard not to make the celebrity in my foursome Sydney Sweeney, because I'm not going to do it because Lynn will be watching.
Bud, you know Augusta?
No, I've not played it.
You think it's more likely Sydney Sweeney's going to slide into your DMs?
Probably, yeah. No, there's got to be.
Or is it more likely you'll slide into Sydney Sweeney's?
Also possible. I think Augusta's a better chance though, right? Like randomly, just somewhere, college football's a southeastern sport. Like maybe it happens.
There was.
I figure I'll be on the tour within 5 years. So
well, yeah.
True. So what was our?
Going?
Is it South Carolina? Does South Carolina have a connection? What was it? Was it Spurrier and Holtz? Both were able to get in at Augusta through some South Carolina football connection, or was that just them being Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier?
Probably them being Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier.
Somebody in the chat's gonna know.
Okay.
Yeah. And did they put a stop to that? Like if I'm Shane Beamer, I'm kind of like, what the heck?
I think Shane Beamer's got some game.
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't we find that like he's actually pretty good?
Yes. All right. we've got a lot to get into today, including your questions in the tailgate. That means if you jumped in early, I'm talking about you, Ian, talking about you, Preston, talking about you, Brennan, talking about you, John. We've got a lot of your questions and more. Thank you to Robert who jumped in. We've also got questions from the big old bag of mail, including not just the topic from yesterday that we decided to hold over, but also some thoughts about scheduling and more. But before we jump into those questions, I wanted to offer a hearty congratulations, because many of you signed up for, as we asked, signed up for our Cover 3 bracket challenge, and very, very few of you are going to end up walking away with some prizes, because it wasn't just for bragging rights. That's right. We've got a full year of Paramount Plus coming for you, Dan Lucky. I kid you not. The man's name is Dan Lucky, or at least that's how he decided to enter it. A full year of Paramount Plus for Dan Lucky. Also, Kyle Gardner comes in second place. Jim Wicks comes in third place. Congratulations. I believe, don't hold me to this, lawyers, I believe we have 1 month of Paramount Plus coming your way as well, that we will be getting in touch with you to make sure that you can get all the redemption codes you need. Paramount Plus, a great place for you to find a mountain of entertainment, Landman, 1923, and featured group coverage of the Masters all weekend on CBS. So Dan Lucky, Kyle Gardner, Jim Wicks, we will be getting in touch with you so you can activate your Paramount Plus. Congratulations on winning the bracket challenge.
Is this the best month to win a free month of Paramount Plus?
I mean, I'm watching the Masters featured groups on it right now.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I kind of think the best month might be when you get to watch the Big Ten on CBS, you know?
That's fair too.
Paramount Plus also makes it very easy for you to go find that college football pregame show. I mean, it's on CBS Sports HQ, but you can find it on Paramount Plus as well. September might be another good option. Okay. Coming up on the other side, we'll get into it. Question from yesterday. We're going to break it out. What is your dream college football foursome and more? Next.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more. It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal! On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
Back here on the Cover 3 podcast. Those of you that were hanging out yesterday, you saw the question. It was too good. We had to save it for our interactive Thursday. The question was, what is your dream foursome? Now, this came with some specifics. 1, professional golfer. 2, celebrity. And 3, college football figure or personality. Now, I'll let this conversation drift out when we talk about who would you want to play golf with on the college football side of things. But let's start with the specifics of the question. 1 pro, 1 celebrity, and 1 person from college football. Tom, you already said Sydney Sweeney did not make the cut, so I know you've got your answer locked and loaded. 1 last chance to cause some marital strife in your house for the weekend. Will Sydney Sweeney be your celebrity?
During the break, there were some negotiations going on via text from somebody watching the show upstairs. I have conceded one part so that she conceded the other. I was originally going to choose Max Homa as my pro.
So you could beat him?
See, Max would laugh at that joke, which is why I would have him as part of my group. But no, to concede to Lynn, I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau because he's such a hunk. And then I'm going to go with Sydney Sweeney. And then after that trade, I still have to choose my college football person. And I'm going to choose my friend, Danny Kanell.
Oh, there we go.
Let's go.
So the only way that we get to play golf with Danny is if we include him in our dream college football foursome.
Danny plays with like Hall of Famers now.
Some of us have played together.
Exactly. Me and Bud have played together.
And won together, actually.
Exactly.
Got your name on the cup.
Orlando. It's coming up in a couple weeks.
It's coming up
in a couple weeks.
All right, Danny. Who do you have?
So it was really hard for me to do 1 celebrity. There's a list. So I had 1A and 1B.
Okay.
because I want to have a group that's pretty competitive, right? That's pretty good. Like, so I want a celebrity that's pretty good at golf. I had two that I think are pretty good. Justin Timberlake is supposed to be a pretty good stick, and Mark Wahlberg is supposed to be pretty good. Both of them, I think. There's also an aspect to it where I was like, man, after 4 hours together, I think we can kind of be friends after, like keep in touch. Like one round might lead to a bunch of rounds. Me and JT I'll fly out to Vegas, get, play in his tournament, something like that.
I don't know if you've ever listened to Mark Wahlberg, but there's no way you're around with Wahlberg's lasting 4 hours. You ever heard his schedule for the day? He wants to play golf in 25 minutes. Yeah.
He has the 3 a.m. wake up club, right? The workout club at 3 a.m. I could get
18 holes, 45 minutes. It's like, oh, okay.
I'd be good with that. I'd be good with the fast golf. For the PGA Tour player, I had Brooks Koepka, selfish reasons, Florida State guy. I met him, and he gave me a pair of Air Jordan golf shoes, the Jordan 11s, which are phenomenal. I just wore them this past weekend. I need a little refresher. And, Florida State boys got to stick close together. And then for my college football personality, I wouldn't mind taking some money from some of these guys. Again, somebody who's pretty good stick. Joel Klatt likes to talk about his golf game. So I'd like to have a shot at the title for Joel Klatt. See if I can get in some of that Fox money, that big money he's making over at Fox. I did.
Remember partner.
Remember he tried to qualify for the U.S. Open, and he went through the round of qualifiers, and he put his over/under he posted before the round was 74.5. He said that was his over/under for his predicted score. It went slightly over with a smooth 90. After which you never go out and talk smack before the round, before a U.S. Open qualifier, right? Like set the bar way up there, and then if you exceed your goals, then it's great. But he was a little bit too optimistic on the score there. I'm sure I would probably shoot 100, but I'd like a shot at Joel Klatt.
You would not shoot 100.
I don't know. He shot 90. I think he's like a 2 or 3 handicap.
Yeah.
Maybe he's even better. Yeah, I think people are blown. I think people have no idea how hard it is.
Hard the courses are.
Right. 7,500 yards, fast greens, trouble everywhere. The penalties are off the charts. I mean, you got to be incredible.
Yeah,
I would love to think I could break 90, but it'd be around there, I bet.
Shane Bacon, who does some work with us, has tried to qualify a lot. He is a terrific golfer, and he has described and documented it's just a different experience. Like what something happens, there's like the course conditions, the way it's set up, but just being out there playing like real, like capital R, real tournament golf is going to just drive up your score just a little bit. That one hole where you would normally pick up, pick up and, just put me down for a triple. No, man, you're taking all 9 of those strokes. Tough nuts. That's how it goes. Then all of a sudden, your chance of breaking 74 is out the window because you just can't do that.
Our boy Shane Bacon did shoot a 68 in a local qualifier at Phoenix Country Club, which I've played before. He's a stick. I mean, he was trying to be pro for a while. He's a really good player.
All right, Bud. What are we going with?
So Danny went Florida State guy. I was going to go a different Florida State guy, actually. I think for vibes. Daniel Berger.
Yeah.
Like
DB straight vibe. Yep.
Pretty good hang. Pair him with you've got to have a guy cracking jokes, cracking a couple cold ones. Throw Shane Gillis on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
college football fan.
Yeah, right. And DeBoer likes to golf too, so we'll go ahead and throw Kalen on there. I think that's a good vibes for him.
That is good.
Okay. My PGA Tour pro. It's a recent PGA Tour pro, but I love this guy's vibes. Give me Neil Shipley.
Yeah, Ohio State Buckeye.
Yeah, I know he's a Buckeye. That guy rocks. Like all the way through. Love every bit of what he's bringing to the table there. For my like celebrity, sheesh.
Sydney Sweeney's taken.
I know. Sydney Sweeney's taken. Shane Gillis was a good one. I was trying to think of stand-up comedian, like who's going to be able to get out there and crack some good jokes. And
what about Bert? If you happen to have an FSU guy in your foursome.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds?
Kreischer.
No,
Kreischer.
He'd be a fun
Oh,
comedian.
that's another good comedian. But
He'd just be yelling all the time, though.
He'd have
Yeah,
his
I
shirt
know.
off. He'd get kicked out of whatever
Yeah, he'd
club.
be getting us kicked out of the club.
Yeah, we can't-
The Kool-Aid clip is still like one of the funniest. You're talking about with a little interview.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
What about McConaughey?
I don't know if he's a golfer. I had him. I thought of him. He's one of my favorite celebrities, but I don't know if he's a golfer. And I want to have somebody that's decent.
That can play, that like knows what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
How stoned is he?
Did Scheffler just chip in?
Probably.
So-
He does it every other hole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I think it
I'm
was a
gonna
putt.
bring back an oldie but goodie for my college football figure, Paul Johnson.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
stick. He can
Paul
play.
Johnson loves playing golf. Like, and he's, I don't know. I mean, I guess everybody here has been, he's tall
Yeah.
and big, and he can
Yeah.
get that club around. He's got some game right there. So
He's probably played Augusta a few times.
I would bet so. I've
would
run
imagine.
into him up at Grandfather Mountain. That's sort of his haunt right now. So I would love to be able to get him out there. All right, who else from the college football world was on your list for consideration? Saban, right?
Yeah.
Because Saban's a competitor. Saban
Mhm.
likes to get out there and play. Who else?
Did I screw up the assignment? I thought it was college football media member. So it's college football.
No, college football personality.
Personality.
in college
anybody?
football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane Beamer was a good one. I think we talked about him earlier. I think he'd be good.
Bob Stoops.
Fun.
Hugh Freeze is supposed to be really good, right?
Yeah. Hugh Freeze is supposed to be really good. I think McElroy talked to me and played with him a few times, said he's really good. He'd be fun. Get the
McElroy
inside
good?
scoop. I think so. I think McElroy's pretty. I think he's single digit. I don't know if he's like 9 or somewhere in there.
What are you checking in at right now?
My index is a 4.3. So
Are you happy with that?
It feels like a dangerous 4.3.
I'm happy with it because of what Bud just said.
Yeah.
It
Well,
works well
and-
for me.
Are
just-
other members of the match play tournament are they happy with it?
No, they're not.
Yeah. No, that's better because that's better than the vanity handicap. I've
Right.
always got side eye.
I'm scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
No,
go out there.
forget-
Again, you set the expectations very low. And then if you go above and beyond, then people are like, hey, you're really good.
Whoa, no, best
Right.
best day
Man.
of my life.
I
Right.
played last week like a 30 plus.
Hey, there we go. Let's take that to a tournament. We'll sign up for the member guest. I'll come
terrible.
up to Lake Bluff. We'll take him
You
down.
know what? You know where we need to play around? Although it will be 1,000 degrees. We have to go at 6 a.m.
Oh,
Big Ten Media Days,
yep.
Las Vegas.
Wait, we talking Shadow or are we talking Valley High?
Either one. Like a Shadow. Let's
a
make
big
it happen.
difference.
We'll have to expense Shadow Creek, though.
EK, clear the decks on that one. Team building activity.
Yeah.
I'll
And
work
some
on-
content.
I'll work on a justification email about 4,000 words about how, like, if you're all remote, it is important to have some in-person, collaboration. And it really,
Exactly.
In
if
the
you
game,
amortize it, like what if we did this monthly? It comes out to actually pretty cheap, so because we're so remote.
in the game points out the Coach Freeze does get real competitive on the course. We had Jerry B jumped in about a half an hour before we got started. Perfect foursome would be Tiger, Warren Buffett, and Spurrier. Okay. I'll take that. He said Mike Leach is unavailable. RIP. I would bet that Leach finds golf very silly.
Yeah, did Leach golf?
I don't think so.
Doubt
You
it.
know who would be fun? And I'd go play in his home city. Rhett Lashley says he's an 8 handicap. I'm looking at a list of best handicaps, and Dallas has some great golf around that area. So if Coach Lashley's listening, he ever wants to tee it up, I can be out there, in a week's notice or so. The best
Let's do that.
golfer is-
That's what we should do. We should do a series where we go golfing with coaches.
Oh my gosh,
This is
it'd be
genius.
so much
Expense
fun.
every single one of them.
Yeah. Do you know who the best golfer is of all the coaches in FBS?
According to Google, or are you citing?
I think according to Google, if you Google it, and also I could confirm, Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer, at one time, and this is probably like 15 years ago, his plan, and he was on record saying he wanted to play in the senior tour. Like, he's like, when I turn 50, I want to be in the, and I think he probably realized how hard that was going to be, but he's scratch. Like, he was definitely legit scratch golfer. He's really good.
He should start playing other coaches who are trying to poach his roster.
Yeah,
That should be
right.
like
4 players.
Yeah. We're doing
you
a
can
player
have them
hole.
if you beat me.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's the defense. It's not about UAB getting their NIL up. It's about Dilfer taking these coaches to the course and then playing a player a hole. And if Dilfer beats you, he gets to take a player off your roster.
Yes, that would be great.
Oh, before I forget, Oklahoma is way better at baseball than I realized when I said that yesterday when we were talking like quick SEC schools. Like I had forgotten, like they actually did win a College World Series in '94 and have like a pretty good number of appearances in the playoffs. So, or in the postseason. So apologies, Oklahoma fans. You guys are better than I realized at baseball.
Missouri came out and they were backing us up. They were like, yeah, like baseball is not like, it didn't seem like Missouri baseball was riding high. That was
produced. I mean, they've produced some good
pros.
pitchers, though. Yeah, they've got Max
Scherzer.
Scherzer. Yeah. And I remember their like pitching coach was like one of the first college pitching coaches to get poached by an MLB team.
Ooh,
you know who would be fun too, and I've played alongside him in a kind of celebrity shootout deal. Dan Mullen would be fun, and he's got a pretty good game. Him and Matt Berry used to do that thing on Thursday Night Football. They
expensed it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's what we should be doing.
And they got out on all these incredible courses.
Well, it was like you have to go to cover Coastal Carolina against Troy, and they're like, that sounds like Myrtle Beach Golf Course to me.
Right.
You know,
they went out and covered Tulsa, and they went out and did the whatever course it was, had the PGA or US Open. It was one of the the courses out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That was definitely a PGA.
We'll call the series Cover 4, but FORE.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
this is branded already. Let's go.
Cover 3 presents Cover 4
or Cover T.
All right. Carson, right before we got started, said, I've never played golf, but my forward would be designed with vibes in mind. Jameis Winston, John Daly, and Shane Gillis would drink a lot of beer and have a lot of laughs.
That would be a good one.
I bet you Jameis can play.
I mean, he's a good baseball player.
His hand-eye coordination is pretty good. Yeah.
Jameis has got good hindquarters too, right? Like good balance.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not going to get too top heavy, be able to come down and maintain through the ball.
Now I know how Chip scouts. Look at the ass on that guy. That's a sturdy hindquarter.
A couple people said, why didn't you pair Saban with Gillis? That's actually a really good suggestion.
Oh yeah.
We were playing yesterday, and our one buddy is like just an awesome dude, like would help you with anything in life off the course, but like on the course, it's just I think he won the Florida Am one year, like a good golfer, and when it goes south, it goes south. And he missed now the greens had been punched last week after Member Guest, and it was like the first time we were out there. And he missed a 3-footer to give us 15 points on 7 and 1. But it was, I feel bad for that cooler on his car. It was that advantage putter.
I'm not good enough to be mad.
Remember when Ortiz went all on the cooler in the dugout?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other final thoughts on the golf? I know we've got a type for a guy BCN. I'm not gonna bring it up to the screen.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh yeah. That's
he's certainly got a type.
I'll make y'all work hard for that before I start trotting out other people's names out here on where
you want to do that one at the Masters, I think, because there's no cell phones, no photos allowed. So that's a perfect place to have that one.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into this is how we're going to pivot into the football related questions here today. So Brennan asks, and this is a little bit more of an education. 10:51 a.m. before the show got started, Brennan said, is it true Jimmy Sexton represents the majority of college football coaches? Why is this? Just seems odd. One dude has a monopoly on it. It's not a majority. First of all, I will say it is not a majority of the 135 FBS coaches. It is a majority of the Southeastern Conference. Yeah. It is probably 50% of the top 25 coaches.
Is it more than the next two guys put together?
Yeah, it's a plurality, yeah, for sure.
I'm seeing 7 of the 10 highest paid college football coaches, which probably do coincide with the SEC representation. You know what's crazy is he also represents a lot of the coordinators that are in the SEC and around college football. I've said often, I think he's one of the most powerful men.
Some of the athletic directors who are hiring them.
It's true. He's one of the most powerful men in the sport. It's just the levers he can pull is pretty dang impressive.
The way a lot of these guys work it, by the way, is basically if you're a really, really big coach, the mega agent is actually like charging you 0 or like a very low fee as long as you funnel like the next up and comers off your staff to him. So then there's incentive for the coach because he gets to keep more of his money to make sure that they also, like his good assistants, also sign with the agent who reps him.
Do you know what it was that got Jimmy Sexton into the game?
He represented Reggie White, I believe.
Bing!
Yep.
Jimmy Sexton, University of Tennessee grad. His first sports agent client was when I think he was still at Tennessee. Like it was like he was young. And of course, Reggie White, Tennessee superstar. Reggie White, his first client. He has gone on to represent Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Matthew Stafford, J.J. Watt, and all of the coaches that you know. So that is how he is able to be in that position that Bud just mentioned in terms of not having to squeeze the top coaches in the sport because he's already built everything up along the way. Do you think that is a problem? Healthy? I mean, it's just the market as it is.
I'm not going to say it's a problem. I mean, I think there are certain instances in which it can be like complicated
or problematic to get.
Yeah, like if you're a school and your AD is repped by one guy, like the odds that AD is going to hire somebody who is not also repped by that guy, I think are very low, to be honest. And now, granted, like since Jimmy represents a ton of big guys, like you have a good chance of getting somebody good. But like, what if the best candidate for your school is not repped by that guy? Is he even going to be on your radar? Like, how are you actually going to find out about him? Search firm? Maybe. Is the search firm like also supplied by your agent? Possibly.
There's a question in the tailgate about conflict of interest. I feel like coaching searches are always conflicts of interest.
Yes. Yeah. Coaching in general is a conflict of interest in a lot of ways.
It is. And I know Jay Billis brings this up all the time, almost ad nauseum, but like the amount of because everybody complains about players being tampered with and all, how long was this deal brokered? Those deals are brokered all the time that are very much conflicts of interest, or that would piss off a lot of people if they knew how many of these deals were brokered before they happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had dinner with Jimmy Sexton and Kyle Rote Jr. when I was a senior at Florida State. I met with probably about 6 or 7 different agents. Lee Steinberg was one of them. Tom Condon was like a legendary CAA guy. I met with him. And Jimmy Sexton was one of the meetings that I had. I ended up going with Marvin Demoff, who was Dan Marino's agent. Dan Marino was my like childhood hero. So when he got the endorsement, said, "Hey, you should go with Marvin," I was like, "Done."
Okay, Dan, you got it.
Exactly. Whatever you say, Dano. Here we go,
Mr. Marino.
That's right. But what was kind of crazy is, so I'll never forget my roommate and I, Todd Rebold. So this is like after our senior year, we're kind of like figuring out what to do. We had a message on our answering machine that I saved for a long time. I had the little cassette tape of Joe Montana. And Joe Montana was recommending a different agent. I think it was Lee Steinberg that he was, recommending. But the agents would have their star players try to call you to kind of, endorse their guy.
That sounds like
it was so cool.
it sounds like if I am Florida State, then, having Jameis call the quarterback prospect and tell him you got to go to Florida State.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
not all that different right there. All right. Coming up on the other side, you just tell some jokes. What's gonna happen with Georgia's offense in the Gunnar Stockton era? And if you were given full scheduling power over a team for a season, how would you build it? And more next.
Baby, we are gonna start a fire.
From world-renowned clubs
Simply devastating.
to worldwide stars.
Wrexham have done it. This incredible ride continues.
The English Football League on CBS Sports Network, and stream every match live.
Back here on the Cover 3 podcast. So Ian has a really good question that I think we need to table for a future episode so we can actually wrap our mind around it. The first part, he says, who do you all have winning the Masters? Get to that in just a second. Then second, I like this. He said, take the 11 best teams from the 4-team playoff era, add 2024 Ohio State, put them in a 12-team format. Who would win it all? Again, we need some time there.
Do we?
You can just let this rip right now?
Yeah, 2019 LSU.
Yep. That's what I would pick.
I mean, you have like 2 of the 3 best receivers in the sport and a top 5 quarterback in the sport, like in the NFL on the same team at the same time.
Okay.
Like the Clemson team they whipped is like one of the very best teams in the history of the sport to not win at all. And it wasn't really that close.
Who else would be the other? Who would be the other 10 teams?
I think that Clemson team would be very up there, but
Right.
they're not in, right? So, no, it didn't say take the 11 winners. It just said take, like, there are
Take
years
the
in which I think the
teams,
champion would not go.
Correct. You want to wait and do this for next week?
Sure, but we already know we kind of spoiled
Yeah.
who our winner's going to be.
All right. Well, who do you have winning the Masters?
Who do I have winning, or who do I want to win? Because
I
I,
mean,
will
those-
be I will be mildly pleased if Scotty Scheffler wins, but I will be very pleased if John Rahm, Hideki Matsuyama, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, or Cam Smith win.
It sounds like somebody's pool picks.
Danny?
It's hard to go against Scheffler, how good he's playing. I would never bet it. Like, even when Tiger was a favorite, I would never bet it. It's just too hard in golf to bet on a favorite, but I would pick him to win. Kind of under the radar guys. I'd love to see Bryson get it done. I think he'd be fun. He's not under the radar at all. Colin Morikawa, I think, is playing really good. I think he could win it. I'd like to see Justin Thomas. I always like watching him compete. His game's been a little bit of a mess. You see what happened? He broke his caddy hurt his back, so he's going with a new caddy this week, which can be good or bad.
It's
local
Max
guy.
Homa's old caddy, the one
That's
that
right.
Homa just split with. Drama among the bros.
Yeah.
I think I'm going Scotty after seeing him drain the 40-footer on 4.
Right.
The like Scotty Scheffler goes and posts 68 on Thursday morning, and all of a sudden you're like, oh crap,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we might be in for that.
I think you want it to play, like, I want it to play fair, but also I want to see the par 5s moved up a little bit. So, like, not everybody's like a total layup fest. And I want it to be interesting on Sunday. Like, I don't really want to watch just a complete, like, runaway,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's somebody that has, like, major, like, choke potential, I guess, and they're in the runaway spot and you're watching to see, like, are they actually going to, hold on to this?
So, like Rory.
Right. Yes. I think that's, yeah. Like Rory. Who else would be in that category?
For what, major choke potential?
Yeah.
Spieth.
Right. Yeah. It has to be somebody that just like has the propensity to do amazing stuff, but like
And also
in this situation, bro, we don't need amazing. We just need like,
knock down a
people-
tree.
Yeah. Bryson's probably in there too, just for some stupidity. Although he's pretty,
I'd like to see Bryson win. After winning the gold
Chip
medal
Gen
for Rain.
Z.
Huh?
Chips Gen Z.
I want to see Bryson win also for like to see what fad diet he's going to try to impose on the Masters dinner for the next year.
It's gonna be. This is the most scientifically efficient diet that I was able to create.
Listen,
Somebody
come on,
was roasting. They're roasting Bubba's choices for his Masters dinner.
what like going back and looking at the 20? What I guess.
Yeah,
14?
it was like roast chicken, green beans, confetti cake, ice cream, and shrimp cocktail. They're like, Bubba,
Come on now. You've got the look at this kitchen.
Whereas like Hideki's looked absolutely amazing.
Wagyu,
Wagyu or Kobe
Wagyu
beef.
steak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of
Kobe
those.
beef. It's good stuff right there. All right, let's see. John, Michigan is going to broadcast their spring game a week after it's played, which also happens to be when the portal closes.
Is that true?
Is this a good solution for keeping spring game television broadcasts alive?
Is that true?
I don't. This is the first I've heard it.
Anybody who plays well enough, is the spring game closed or like can fans go live?
Right. See, I think fans can go, and so they're going to send scouts. Like there'll
This
be
is
other
silly.
coaches.
And like also, if you ball out, you can just screen record your Exos app and give that to your agent, and he can disseminate it without express written consent to any team that's interested. Kirby's already told us about this. How like some of these agents have basically viewing parties to preview the merchandise. Basically, like it's. I think this is. I'm glad they're going to be on TV because I want to see Bryce, but I don't think this is like a real problem for tampering.
College football coaches truly are some of the most paranoid people on the planet.
What team is good enough and has enough cash to get a Michigan player off Michigan, and they don't have the resources to find out what happened in real time? Like, who is that team?
Couldn't they find a player that is?
Like, you think Clemson's like, oh, hold on, like we're not going to look until it officially airs? What is this?
But if it was on TV live and there was a backup linebacker and you thought you could get that linebacker cheap, then yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Did you see so
Mark
we
Howard
talked
is- golly. That is a
I
hard
talked
thing
to these guys are so good. I talked to David Hood of TigerNet this morning on the radio, and he was at the Clemson spring game, and one of the nuggets that he had was he said when it wasn't on TV,
right?
So he said the best part about it, he said it was 93 minutes and it was done. He said from the time they stepped on the field, he said they did some 7-on-7, did some tackling drills, started the scrimmage, but because they didn't have TV timeouts, didn't have to wait, take any halftime, 93 minutes in and out. That was a great like beat writer point, but I also think fans would like that too. Like you're baking in the sun, like just go give me the action, get me stuff and like enjoy it, have a great day, and you're not exhausted with heat exhaustion, from just getting some bacon in the sun all day long.
Yeah,
you can also just have somebody like dub in commentary later for the.
That's what they all should do is have them not be on TV. There was so much downtime, and they used to have Saban mic'd up or whoever mic'd up, and that's like great, and fans love that access. But the game and the action was very, very slow.
It's also I think it's a better way to produce a spring game because the announcers get the names wrong so often because the jersey numbers are not your standard jersey numbers, and you have all of these walk-ons playing as well. So like you might be playing like 100+ guys in your spring game in theory. It's a very. Have you ever seen a spring game broadcast that wasn't clunky? And it's not a commentary on the people producing it or the people commenting. It's a really hard event to actually produce and commentate in that way. Like Danny, like you don't.
Yeah.
Like your flip chart is not usually like 120 guys.
Right.
When you call it a game.
Right. So I called a Texas spring game. That was probably one of the bigger ones that I got to do out in Austin. And the flip chart that you use, first of all, usually they're color coordinated so you can flip flop them. But they also, what they do in spring games? There's no really set roster sometimes. They'll pull one guy from one team, plug him in. There's guys wearing different numbers. I forget who my play-by-play was, but he was livid because there were like 20 guys that were deeper on the depth chart that we had no idea who they were. All it was a number. And it was like, there's number 82 making a big catch out of it. And he was like getting irritated because they didn't give us the numbers, like ahead of time, because they don't really care. They're like, hey, we just want to practice, and the coaches know who it is, but no one else did.
Georgia among those spring games that are not going to be on television, but we will see if they end up finding a way to give us the highlights a little bit later. We got a question from Jameson before we got started. Do you guys think the upgraded receiver play for Georgia will counteract them stepping back at the quarterback position? Will Georgia's defense rebound from major losses again?
To the first part, absolutely. Me and Ivans and Centel were at Elite 11 over the weekend. We're talking about this, and I was like, I think Gunner's going to have better numbers this year than Carson did last year, and it's simply because you're not playing Arian Smith and Dylan Bell at like a true receiver position. You have Noah, you have big guy from Miami who got the boot halfway through and is back.
Colby Young,
right? And you have Branch, who they think is more of a real receiver than Arian ever was, and you have two very veteran tight ends now, as Tom can tell you about. I think they're going to be so much better. Like Dylan Bell's been playing running back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think makes a lot of sense. Like, you want the ball in that guy's hands. You don't really want that guy responsible for getting himself open. Or catching it. Like that. The best game he had really was the game where Georgia just schemed it up for him against Tennessee. Was it 23 in Knoxville? I think 2023.
I think
road game in Tennessee. So it had to be 23 because he wasn't there in 21. I'm sure the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're going to be much better throwing the football this year than they were last year, just because you have actual receivers to play with.
Do you think the run game? I was actually doing some work with Georgia this morning for a piece that's running on CBSSports.com this afternoon. So Nate Frazier is the starting running back, right? He shows you a little bit of flash. He's kind of the RB1. I was reading some reports about Dylan Bell being cycled in, and sort of the way the rest of that room cycles out is going to be a little bit, we'll see who's got the hot hand, who's going to be able to step in, scheme opponent dependent. Do you think they'll be able to run the football?
I think Frazier is the most talented back, but he also has to hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
And that was an issue going back to modern day. So in high school. So he has to actually not fumble at really inopportune times. They like the Bo Walker kid, by the way.
They're also replacing some very good experienced players in the interior of that offensive line.
No.
And to go back to the second part of the question is will the defense rebound from major losses? Looking at Connolly's returning production rankings, Georgia ranks 93rd on defense, but they rank 108th on offense. There's major losses on both sides of the ball. And the one thing that I do wonder is, with the portal and the way it's worked, and we've talked about it on the show, it kind of destroys your ability to hoard all the talent. I don't know for sure that Georgia's just going to be able to reload the way they've been able to reload in the past, because some of that talent has left. Now some more of it has come in too, but I don't know. I don't think that we're looking at a team that's going to be bad or by any stretch or fall apart. They're still going to be one of the best teams in the SEC, but if you mean, will they, rebound and win the league and then be a title contender? I think we can't really say at this point.
Well, it's interesting. Two positions of the SEC championship competitors in the SEC championship game last year, Georgia in the defensive line. It's time for the youth movement, because Michael Williams was a senior, Naz Stackhouse was a senior, Warren Brinson was a senior, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins was a junior, all off to the NFL. And they didn't bring in a big portal guy. They're like, no, we recruit 5 stars because we want those 5 stars to get in there. And when it's their time to go, it's their time to go. That's also happening at Texas. Steve Sarkisian's gone to the transfer portal to get, wide receivers and pass catchers the last couple of years. Did not do it this year. He said, no, we've got Ryan Wingo. We've got DeAndre Moore. And we believe that with this really talented group of freshmen and redshirt freshmen, first and second year players, that they're going to be able to find their answer. Now, whether that's Michael Terry III, Parker Livingstone, Dylan McCutcheon, there's some options right there. But Texas and Georgia played for the SEC championship. They are both expected to be national championship contenders. They are not big portal addition teams, even at positions of need. And so this is going to be a big recruiting. High school recruiting still matters, is going to be on the table for those two teams, because if it does, then they're going to show you why you can't just rely on the portal to win national championships. Can you go from 6 wins to 8 wins? Sure. Could you maybe go from 8 to 10? Maybe. But if we're talking about maintaining that standard of competing for national championships, I found it interesting going through some of these position battles that for Texas and Georgia, there were positions of need. They did not try to get an instant fix, just add water from the transfer portal. They are just going to rely on what they've done with their development and their recruiting out of high school. So something to look at on the Georgia defensive side as well. All right. Okay, let's hit the big old bag of mail, where if you go and you leave us a 5-star review, and in that review, you can put your mailbag question. We will tackle it in a future mailbag episode. This question comes from, oh man, I lost it. All right. If you were in charge of putting together your schedule, how would you do it? And this is a question that is mostly focused on whether you would do it with a tough non-conference game. And the question says, let's assume 9 conference games. So we're not going to go with this SEC, ACC soft 8 games. If you had 9 conference games, 3 non-conference games, what would you look to do to put together your schedule?
I'm in the SEC.
No, he wants 9. So you're in.
I'm in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I did it with like neutral. I just put conference games versus non-con. So I scheduled it week 1. Give me a group of 5. Give me a team that I'm going to be favored by 2 touchdowns against, right? Sort of your pseudo preseason game.
I like
right?
that.
Mm-hmm.
Second game, I had
The banger.
The hardest one you can schedule. Give me Bama, give me Ohio State, give me Georgia, whatever you can do, non-conference. Just give yourself a test. Then conference game. Week 4. After week 4, after 4 games, I want to buy. And now
so your bye would be week 5.
Yes. So I'm trying to schedule this out with buys. Then I'm going conference. 4 games in a row in conference. Another bye. So you've got your 4 remaining games last month of the season. Now, I did it ACC, SEC minded. I had conference, group of 5, rival. I do like the rival game last for a non-conference matchup, whoever your rival is.
I like that. Tom?
I would go 3 patsies to start. Michigan did it, won a national title. Ohio State just did it, won a national title. And then I would go with my 9 conference games. I would prefer one of my tougher conference games to be early. And then I would also like a bye in the middle of October, maybe right before that very first tough game, and then another bye in the middle of November.
Like, you don't want to have my line was to actually go from the old Alabama to have the bye right before the start of November, and then to be able to just roll through November. And hopefully, in the 3 conference games, in the 3 non-conference games, you're probably not putting one of those non-conference games all the way in November. I think you're just hoping that you draw in your conference schedule one of those conference games that's going to be a little bit more manageable along the way. But I wanted, if we were to have 2 buys, I would like it at the end of September and at the end of October. And if we were going to have 1 buy, I think I would just take it with like 7 or 8 straight games. But I loved that. I loved the old Alabama LSU schedule where they both hit that bye. They came back, they played on the first Saturday in November, and that was sort of the kickstart of the title run. And that's, again, showing my bias from having, been so intimately covering that sport when both of those teams are competing for national championships. But I did like the rhythm of that in terms of going through the early part of the schedule. You've got that late bye, you get healthy, and then it's green light go all the way towards Lifton Trophy time.
Chip literally said exactly what I was going to say there. So let's get more questions, because that's I get like no notes. That was perfect.
Okay. Here we go. Preston, soon to be dad here. Congratulations, Preston. You've been rocking with us for a while. Preston says, soon to be dad here. What's your fondest sports memory with your dad? Bud and Tom both dropped really good ones for best athletic memory.
I would say, like,
hitting the
my
ball
dad
through the window, and then
my dad coaches the baseball. There's it's not like one specific one there. And also I really like playing golf, with him, obviously. So those are really the two for me. It's just kind of the time spent.
I will say when I was like 5 or 6, the big plastic red bats and the plastic balls, my dad was pitching to me in the backyard, and I hit one, and I hit it over the house or onto the roof of the house. But my dad went to the front yard, and he was gone for like 10 minutes. And then he came back, and he was like, "You hit this thing all the way across the street." And I believed him because I was 5 years old and I thought I was a superstar. And then it wasn't until I was actually old enough. There was no, I just hit that onto the top of the house. It rolled off the side. He went and got it and went inside for 10 minutes, went to the bathroom or something, and then came out and told me that. But still, at the time, as a 5-year-old, I thought I was Babe Ruth. So I'll go with that.
I did give in. Oh, sorry, Danny.
I was looking for a photo that I've got. I've got a couple photos that would kind of. So after my senior year in the Orange Bowl, we beat Notre Dame, came from behind. I got a picture with my dad, like on the field. That was really cool. And it's like just a great photo. We're like on top of the world, just winning, last game at the Orange Bowl. Then there's another one that's really cool that I love. Another picture I got with my dad. He's the team doctor for the Marlins, the Dolphins. And I'm on the Giants, and we've got a picture on he's in his Dolphins gear. I'm in the Giants uniform, and it's right before the game. That was a pretty cool moment.
Did he purposely injure any Dolphins to sabotage them for their games against you so you would look better?
I wish he had. I don't know. I wish he had.
I don't know how his ankle broke. I was just
right. I would say that would be one. And then as a kid, when I was in high school, we went to the Super Bowl in Tampa, and it was the Scott Norwood wide right, the Bills versus the Giants. And we drove over with 2 of my brother-in-laws. And so it was like the 4 of us. We went to Burns Steakhouse before the game. We went to the game. It was when Whitney Houston sang the national anthem. It was the Gulf War. That was really a fun memory just to be with your dad on that one, except one of my brother-in-laws got sick. I think it was from Burns. I don't know if he had like a French onion soup. Something did not sit well with him. So we're at the Super Bowl. I'm sure the tickets weren't cheap. And he's like yakking over to the side. He was awful. Oh, God. But it was a great time with my dad. Thank goodness it wasn't him.
When is too early to green light the arm sleeves and the sliding mitt?
Oh.
Because we had a kid on
about the oven mitts?
break out the sliding mitt. And
the oven
sleeves.
mitts have got to go. I think those should be banned in baseball.
There's so much. They're like $45.
Yeah, that's the only reason they have them is because they make money. Youth sports is all about making money. As much as you can rip off parents as possible, they're going to sell them. They literally are oven mitts that they're wearing around the bases. What happened to just being an athlete and don't jam your precious little fingers, Johnny? Let them play.
First base, it's
cook,
mega annoying. These
pull
kids,
out these oven mitts. Watch me cook.
Okay, so with the 5-year-old pants, the pockets are not large enough to hold these damn oven mitts. So they got to jog down to first base and hand it to the first base coach, and he's holding it. It's too much. I said yes to the arm sleeves, the digital camo blue ones. We wanted, that's fine. The oven mitts are on back order, unfortunately.
Literally just go into the kitchen and grab some oven mitts, and then you're good.
I think so too.
Are we doing leg sleeves too?
No, no leg sleeves. They go the longer socks with the shorter pants.
How about the shield? Isn't there Ev Shield or Evo Shield or something like that where you can put them on your hitting side? Even if it's T-ball, it doesn't matter. You still want to look good.
You get injured in T-ball from ball hitting you is low.
Hey, it could foul tip off the ground, I guess.
We got our.
Were you guys long pants or high socks?
Long as could go.
I was high socks.
I think it goes by body type. I think your body type, the high socks would look good.
What about these basically modified shorts these guys are wearing nowadays? That to me looks silly, especially if you're a pitcher.
Yeah.
Is the guy in the Marlins? saw it tonight. I was like those are shorts. Like he's wearing like compression shorts, not baseball pants.
All right. So
Robbie Ray pitches for the Giants, and he's pretty much wearing yoga pants out there.
Yeah, that is true.
In T-ball, are they rocking a cup?
They're not rocking a cup. No.
Okay.
No.
They
can't really like buckle their own belt, so it's. Yeah.
Well, we've got our first summer at T-ball this summer. Signed up as an assistant coach, and cup is on the equipment list. And I was like, I don't think they need to wear a cup for T-ball.
Lift dangerous.
I will say one thing that has helped us is those hit sticks. Have somebody man the hit stick in the on deck circle to kind of get the kid who's about to go up to bat. Like, oh, it's time to hit. Like, let's activate my hitting brain. That has helped us a lot. Did not help us field the night though, as we got our ass beat. It was.
Just get a little thimble, Chip. You'll be good on the cup.
Like it was a scrimmage. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Trying to build them up. It's like, guys, we're a fast team, and being this slow is a choice. All right, let's be fast on Saturday.
Well, no, I have to disagree with that. Sometimes being slow is not a choice. Sometimes it's just your curse.
Yeah. So it was fun.
I have, and this is not like the fondest one, but I think it's just sort of like with the moment. I have awesome memories watching the 1995 Masters with my dad. I have I will need to ask when I see him this weekend, but he was locked in on Ben Crenshaw winning this thing. Like it just, I think because it had been a gap, right? In 95, he had already won it once, but it had been a while. It was a little bit later in his career. And we were doing he had made a big thing of cheese dip. We had our scoops and we were taking a big scoop. We were going, good luck to Ben, and cheersing our scoops together and just laying around all Sunday afternoon watching Ben Crenshaw. Davis Love had gone and posted a number earlier in the round. And so he had to Crenshaw had to push it deep to be able to actually get it done. He, of course, has that easy putt on 18th, kind of crumbles into his hands. It was just, that was the first Masters that I remember really being dialed into and rooting for somebody. And it was because our whole family was just locked in on Ben Crenshaw. So it was a fond memory, and the first of many, 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 many more Masters and golf tournaments, and the love of golf that would continue on for the rest of my life.
Do you know what we need, by the way, in relation to watching the Masters and a product that I feel like if somebody could design is good? We need a combo phone charger, cooler, not like a cooler for beverages, but you know how when you're out there on the course and you're also trying to watch a major and you're trying to also play, and it won't charge your phone because the phone is too hot and it's ripping through battery. If you could make something that also has some kind of thermodynamic cooling for the phone with the magnetic charger, so it keeps it nice and cool and doesn't shut down the charging. I mean, I'd buy one.
That's a Florida golf problem. It is,
right? Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of us.
That is not a Chicago golf problem. Fun fact: going back to the Ben Crenshaw 1995. Last year, Scotty won $3.6 million for winning the Masters. You want to know how much Ben Crenshaw made for winning the 1995 Masters?
Oh gosh, how much?
$396,000.
Wow.
I think
What's
you get that for making the cut now. They haven't announced that yet, but last year it was $3.6 million.
I was gonna say it might be 4.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because you've got more? Does the number change based on the number of competitors?
I'm not sure.
No, I think it's just they just keep raising it every year.
They just keep getting more money.
They've got more money. Spend
how
it.
many of those?
They all bought stocks before everything went back up again.
Yeah.
All right.
Insider trading.
Yeah. So
I'm just looking for the go signal again.
It's not insider if you announce it online. That's all.
Exactly. Everybody had the opportunity.
That was public. Everyone had the opportunity.
There is a chance we give it all back today. I'm just saying.
Hey, Trey Daddy.
I've seen this before.
Oh yeah.
All right. Everyone, again, the Masters on CBS. You can watch it on Paramount Plus. Stream every little bit of the featured group coverage. Amen Corner, 15 and 16 on the range. Lots to get into, and of course, on Saturday and Sunday coverage beginning on CBS in the afternoon. It's an awesome time to check it out, and the coverage is unlike anything else. We appreciate all of y'all for hanging out By Monday, we will have gotten a chance to have our eyes on Ohio State and Notre Dame spring games, among others, and go and read and follow up and check in with our sources when it comes to the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Georgia Bulldogs, when it comes to Auburn, Tennessee, and so much more. So we'll take a look back at what we learned, what we heard from the spring games on Monday, and you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fornelli. You can follow him at Danny Kanell. You can follow him at Bud Elliott 3. You can follow me at Chip _Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See ya.